Good afternoon, everybody. People, consumers, enterprises, businesses do not buy products. They do not buy products. They might think that they do, but they don't. In this session, what I want to illustrate for you from a major building management system supplier here in the UK, and with some of my erstwhile product supplying colleagues, I want to try and tease out this idea that actually the reality is we don't buy products at all. We buy something else. What is that something else? You can be engaged in this if you want to be. I'd like it very much if you could. If you can take a little QR snapshot here, you can engage with us in Q&A during the course of the conversation. You could drive the conversation with us and for us. You would help us get that conversation together. I'd very much appreciate it if you could. I'll get the questions through on my laptop here, and apart from the rude ones, I will ask anything that you probably trying to be. Let's just start here. Take some of the biggest corporations around the world. People think that Apple sell iPhones or iPods or iPads or smartwatches, but they don't. That's not what they sell at all. What they actually sell is something that delivers you into a creative and seamless future. What about Starbucks? Coffee shop, they sell coffee, right? No, they don't. What actually Starbucks provide for you is a community space where you can feel engaged together. That's what Starbucks delivers for you. The coffee is just a vehicle to get you there. Harley Davidson, you think you're buying motorcycles. You're not. You're buying freedom. That's what you're buying from Harley Davidson. You buy a Harley Davidson and you have bought yourself freedom. That's what products do for the people that buy them. People think they're buying an Apple phone. People think they're buying a Starbucks coffee. People think they're buying a Harley Davidson motorcycle. But the reality is they are buying something completely different. If we were to look as an example at this, who remembers the iPod when it was released? Now, when would that be? This could have been Apple's pitch for the iPod. And actually, there were competitive products, MP3 players. They had a pitch very much like this. It told you about the processor speed and the type of processor. It told you about the storage on board. It told you about how it connects to the outside world. It told you what the product is. But that's not how Apple pitched the product to people that bought it. That's it. That was the Apple advert from 1998 or whatever it was that helped to sell the iPod. At no point did they tell you what was in it. They just said to you, do you want 1,000 souls in your pocket? If you do, this is a product for you. Now, the world of building management, the world of IoT has gone through a similar transition. The early days of building management, maybe 40 years ago, actually we were providing products that gave very simple foundational and monitoring and control. They controlled your building, they monitored your building in a very specific way, but that was the limit of VMS. Over the last 40 years, we've transitioned into interconnected systems, the whole world of integration, linking systems together, making your building smarter. That's the transition that's taken place over the last 20 years or so. Where we are now is here, which is our buildings are driven by what the outcome of using those systems really are. What is the outflow? What's the output? What is the requirement of the business owner, the building owner, which delivers those things on behalf of Eagle Worth. I want to spend just a couple of minutes with these lovely people down here. Now, you know who they are. I'd like you all, and no more than 30 seconds to introduce yourself and who the company is, without telling me what any of the products do. So let's start over there. Let's have Tim. Tim, off you go.
Thanks. Tim Andrews. I work for a company called Janitza, which is a company that's based in Germany. And for about 18 months, we're partnering with Horace Rock. So that's me in a nutshell. But I'll come back to you and tell you about the solution I'll sell in a minute.
That's great.
Keep it away with product.
Thank you. That's Tim. This is Caroline.
Hi, my name is Caroline, and we working with Forest more than 5 years. We as a company, we are manufacturing, and yeah, we're trying to be even more in depth with our partners, Law and Cowards.
Wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael. I work for a French manufacturer. Products are being distributed in the UK. And we basically provide optimize energy efficiency, industrial applications, peace of mind.
Hello, I'm Campbell. I've worked for a company called MultiTech, which is an American company, and she's 55 years old. And I have been with the company now 28 years, residing on the technical side.
I've got some questions coming in here, which is great. You should use this QR code right here. If you can reach it, drop your questions into the slider. That'll be great. Let me start off over on that side over there with Tim. Okay. Question here, which is on energy metering. Right? The issue in the market is, how does energy efficiency relate to energy metering?
So I suppose the metering captures the data that allows us then to interrogate the data that allows us then to look at the actual energy usage. So what we would do is capture that data, the data.
Quality of
That's what we talk about in solutions, really. So what we're actually bringing to the marketplace is an ability to measure the energy, but also to measure and connect the data from the energy meters. We all want in the marketplace a perfect electrical sine wave. That doesn't happen. So what we're trying to do is ascertain and work out where those disturbances and noises come from, and that's our idea of Heliport.
what is it actually the customers are looking for when they're talking about clean?
They're looking for what perfect sine wave, really, a perfect AC/DC sine wave. But that doesn't happen. Every time you put a piece of machinery on a drive or a refrigerator, it creates noise. So it makes that perfect sine wave not perfect. And we're trying to work out exactly when that happens and then predict when that may happen in the future, and then work with other companies to fix that problem. We don't fix, we monitor, identify the issue.
Got it. LoRaWAN is a big thing, right? Who's best to pitch in LoRa? You two guys or LoRaWAN? Right? Okay. So a question here is, what wireless installations? There's a question here on safety and security. You also talk about whether wireless installations are safe and secure, because that's the requirement the customers have required: safety and security. Do you want to take that, Michael?
I suspect one that data is more and more sensitive, whether inside a building, let it be residential, governmental, military. More and more of these use private networks, rated networks. LoRaWAN is definitely one of them, because it consumes very little and is quite wide in terms of you can cover whatever distance. Security is probably a key element. I mean, there are some directives which have been released in Europe, the Red Directive, asserting confidentiality. Definitely. So more and more of our products are required to have activation keys, for instance, so they can be activated on site, not by anybody, but the people who are actually monitoring the building itself.
Have got other ways of looking at safety and security. If you look at safety or a personal level, is to enable safety and security on buildings. So you can start to control door entry of the mentioned a moment ago about lighting. You would turn lighting on and off, and you can see what's going on. You can bring all that data in a secure and safe manner back to somebody who's also seeing what's going on. So you can use that data to say, I need some help. Or, what you're doing is you start pulling all the data from all the different places, no matter what the product is, and actually combine that, maybe with some AI as well, or machine learning, and actually present that in usable data on health, safety, and predictive maintenance.
So going beyond that a little bit, from wireless to wired solutions, Carol, one of the questions here is, what's that got to do with building management?
What is the most important thing in life? I believe it's time to have a cup of tea instead of going on site and checking all those buildings. Is everything okay? So the time that we could save together using our equipment, it is precious. We developed our software based on that, and we are adding even more features to have everything in one place to check the important matter such as temperature. If something is going wrong, to receive a message to your phone and make those changes remotely.
I think we're getting a lot of questions here on AI. I want to make sure that we'll cover that. Wonder how's AI affecting your product development? That's a question for everyone, eh? But there's one here, and smart building controls.
Yeah, with AI, they can model the buildings with the AI, and they can look what's happening, obviously, and try and model things so they can predict or what's going to happen. And that would help us in our meeting and bringing the data in again, and we can predict it a little bit further into the future in AI. With the product and the AI itself, for us, it has a real effect because it's a partner. Okay, so the power we find in the AI industry at the moment in data centers, for instance, a typical server runs on a 13 amp plug circuit. An AI server is at the moment running at 80 amps, so stage 0. So already the power, the energy, the consumption has really sort of grown overnight in an AI data center. And the predictions are, that I heard a few weeks ago at another conference, is that's going up to 120 hours. Well, third one as well. So we're going from 13 to 120. So monitoring and measuring that energy consumption is now becoming really, really important, and more so in the AI industry.
What is that the very systems that are requiring energy efficiency and sustainability are far end as a solution.
And I think this, I mean, I'm not a cooling engineer by any means, but as soon as we put more power into the building, you've got to cool the thing down as well. And that is again causing the energy to go up, the energy management side of it, and then also the noise back onto the network from the cooling systems and creating bigger harmonics as well.
There is a big difference between utilizing AI and predictive data. There's a learning that's going on inside of AI. Campbell and Hindemann.
Yes, certainly when you start to interact with AI, what we're seeing is, we listen to our customers asking for AI needs data. Instead of the historical data, and if I'm using AI with real-time to predict environments, it can start to spot things that we possibly haven't seen before, considered. And therefore, you can start to get efficiencies of the solutions that enables you to get further into the green efficiencies, the health efficiencies, the safety efficiencies, and start to identify what's going wrong. And with that information that we're also able to glean, and listening to what people are asking, we can use AI to look at more innovative ways that we haven't caught on and over to actually enable products and solutions to give you the results that you're looking for. So where we're seeing the responses from one side on what AI is actually consuming, we're actually consuming AI and the rest side things to actually enable a better solution as well. So AI is helping us type solutions with our models.
In what way is AI assisting with products and or solutions developed in the businesses?
sustain you.
AI is basically used in our manufacturing to check, yeah, the problems, in MT lines as well, just to check if everything is okay and make some changes. And also each time to adjust based on new requirements that came in and be on the loop basically.
Michael?
We also use a bit of AI as a lead to help the products get into predictive maintenance. We use AI to help the device understand actually quicker, better. And it's all down to efficiency. I think we related to time, which is in essence today.
So, time is this there's a relatively specific question here on BACnet SC. So the secure version of the BACnet protocol. I don't know where that came from. That somebody's saying that the industry and manufacturers are not going that particular way anymore. More I think there's two things in there. One is that the idea of and the conversations around cybersecurity continue to grow in the world of building controls. That's without a doubt. There are more conversations happening now around the whole area of safe and secure and reliable and resilient communications in our build. That's the problem that is now a hot topic. It continues to be saying it. BACnet SC is a development as BACnet protocol, which just requires a little bit more heavy lifting in terms of the implementation. That may be the reason why that specifically has not yet had the traction on market and that absolutely should. With the ability to supply safe and secure communications can be achieved in different ways, and that's where Teltonika, as an example, can do that, carrying protocols across.
So we do have, and we are not hiding anything. Basically, if you could open our website, you could find all the certification out there. You could download all the certification that our equipment is supporting. So, and we've constantly adding more secure protocols on top.
Here's a good couple more for that in on. A really simple question that's come in here, which I think was really helpful, which is that the question is, what is a smart building? All right. It's a simple question, complex answers. So from your various worlds, answer the question for me, which is, in your particular silo of expertise, how would you define a smart building? Let's start over there.
For me, a smart building is a building that can understand what power and energy is coming in, and also understand what power and energy they're putting back out as well. So it was really an understanding of what you're actually getting from the grid side of it, what you're consuming.
Perfect. Thank you. Caroline, you've had time to think about it.
So basically, to receive information from the cloud and send that information to the cloud that is required that information to have. So this is the smart building for us.
We're getting more questions on AI and so on. But when will we start to see, from smart buildings point of view, buildings thinking and operating for themselves? When the buildings become smart enough to be autonomous?
Right. Very good question. I was actually reflecting previous questions. But I see a resemblance. I think there's a very important distinction in between two words, independence and autonomy. We don't necessarily want to have a building be independent, but to be autonomous enough to react to energy efficiency, to collecting the right data, and in turn making it efficient, reducing power, shutting off the light, closing the window, or telling the maintenance people, please act or have an issue.
So I get it. It's semi-autonomous smart building and upgrading.
Okay, I'm a bit of a geek, so yes, I do have numerous different technologies from within my own home. And I think to get into smart and smart building, what you've got to understand is there is plethora of data make the smart building and needs to be able to retrieve and then react to what it's seeing. And I think what we're starting to see is already here is allowing the building once it's not an ideal set of parameters to work to collect its own data and work out what it's going to do in either a predictive or an operative manner with manual input and automatic input, the standard input to work out what it's going to do next. And I think you'll find a lot of that technology is already here now.
Yeah.
It's just whether you're willing to embrace it and allow the building to start doing things for you. So, such as simply flushing the toilet. Become delectable. Let your imagination run wild. And the more is the oyster of one, you can actually how it's in it.
And in the world of the smartest buildings, Tim, the smartest buildings in all, how would good electricity and
Efficient metering. I suppose in a way, with the efficient metering, you are to really check with what you're doing with the power. Okay, so it makes sure that you're not polluting the power as well. So you want your building to be smart enough. It can then switch on filters to keep the noise away from the squalor. I think what we don't know enough about yet is what's going to happen if you're polluting somebody else down the road.
That's good. Thank you all. So I wanted to just bring this to your attention. This little community here is part of a team that we're putting together at Forest Roll, which is all around building deeper relationships between us as a distributor, the suppliers that we have, and our facilities to deliver world-class solutions and outcomes. So that's called Project BACnet. I just want to say thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it very much indeed. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the show.